This episode is sponsored by Dropbox. Hello, I'm Dr. Joseph Hansen, PhD. The following video about placebos has been scientifically proven to cure viewers of boredom, fatigue, dad bod, Star Wars overhype, chronic back pain, and a host of other common ailments. Now, open wide, it's time for science. On the North African battlefields of World War II, wounded soldiers were plentiful, but morphine was often scarce. Army doctor Henry Beecher needed to operate on an injured soldier, but had no drugs to give him for the pain. A desperate nurse grabbed a vial of salt water, filled a syringe, and miraculously, the soldier's pain went away. When Henry Beecher returned to Harvard University after the war, he found that a range of ailments, from gunshot wounds to the common cold, could be treated with fake medicine. It's known as the placebo effect, from the Latin for I shall please. So, what's in them? Let's turn to our chemistry expert friends from Reactions.
The perfect placebo has the look, color, and taste of the drug it's being compared to. Ideally, it contains all the inactive ingredients of the real pill, but doesn't include the active drug ingredients. That just leaves the other stuff that make up the bulk of the pills. These might include sugar, that's why placebos are often called sugar pills, cellulose from plants, cornstarch, or yeast, along with other common ingredients that bind the pill together, and others that help it break down in your stomach. Placebos used in big drug trials often contain, well, actually, we don't exactly know what these placebos contain. In a study called What's in a Placebo? Who knows? Researchers went through over 150 trials involving placebos from 4 medical journals. Only 8% of the trials disclosed the placebo's ingredients. Although no 2 placebos are created equal, some of them get better results. For more on that, here's Joe.
A placebo capsule works better than a placebo tablet. Placebo injections work better than placebo capsules, and placebo machines work better than placebo injections. Even having a nice long talk with a doctor before taking a placebo can increase its effect. Taking 2 placebos is better than taking 1. Expensive placebos stamped with brands work better than cheap generics. Even putting them in fancy packaging or giving them fancy names can add to all of this. Clearly, the effectiveness of a placebo is tied to our perception of how sophisticated the treatment is. Even pill color can make a difference. Placebo sleeping pills work best if they're blue. Red placebos are better as stimulants or pain relievers, and yellow placebos make better antidepressants. I mean, it's pretty wild. One thing with absolutely no therapeutic value can work better than another thing with absolutely no therapeutic value. Some placebo effects are easy to explain. I mean, sometimes people just get better, but we can't just write them off as fake psychological tricks. Placebos can lead to very real chemical changes in our bodies. They can cause the brain to release its own natural pain-killing chemicals. They can even improve symptoms in Parkinson's patients by releasing dopamine. It seems like where placebos do work, our higher order brain functions are in play, like when they relieve pain, reduce stress, or even change our moods. But they have limits. They can't shrink tumors or cure infections or regrow limbs. These days, before drug companies can sell a new medicine, they have to test it against a placebo. The idea is pretty simple. Give one group of patients a sugar pill or something, and one the real drug. See what happens. Subtract the placebo group's improvement from the other group, and we should see if the drug has a real effect. Simple, right? But strange things are happening these days. Even with all our advancements in science, more and more drugs are failing to pass the placebo test. It's as if the placebo effect is getting stronger. In countries like the United States, drugs can be advertised directly to consumers.
Do you feel healthy, happy, and comfortable? Are you not suffering from headaches, indigestion, or irritability? A lack of symptoms may be a symptom of antohypochondriasis, commonly known as invisible illness disorder, or IID. But now there's Contradictol. Contradictol brings hidden ailments to the surface so they can be treated with other medications. Ask your doctor if Contradictol is right for you.
All that marketing has increased our expectations of what drugs can do, and as a result, some old drugs like Prozac perform worse in placebo tests today than when they first came out. This growing placebo effect is making it harder to figure out which real drugs really work. And just in case you think this couldn't get any weirder, it gets weirder. In one study, patients were even told they were receiving placebos, and they still felt real results. It's likely because the doctors had told them that placebos often have healing effects. Clearly, the critical ingredient in a placebo is expectation. If they ever work, they worked because we expect them to. So much so that a fake drug can also make a patient feel worse if that's what they're expecting. By this point, some of you are probably asking, if placebos are so effective, why not use them as real medicine? Well, prescribing one thing but telling a patient they're taking a different thing is deception. And according to Hippocrates, little white lies like those are not okay. But many doctors think parts of the placebo effect can still be used without turning every practice into a carnival sideshow. I mean, if talking to your patients more can really make them feel better, then why not talk to your patients more? There's a lot we don't understand about how and why we sometimes get better. But in addition to all the amazing medicines we've got, it's nice to know the brain has some quality medical care built in. Next time you get sick, maybe you can find a little relief in knowing that the doctor is always in. Stay curious. Some of us take pills every day in the form of vitamins and supplements. If you've ever wondered what's in them or if they actually work, follow me over to Reactions and find out more. This episode was sponsored by Dropbox. Whether you're designing, presenting, writing, or building, Dropbox makes it simple to work together on any file. Because if you can work with anyone, anywhere, any way you want, the world will be full of more interesting things. Dropbox, all yours. Balloons are magical. Birds and planes stay aloft by using power to keep air moving over their wings.
We fill blimps and party balloons with lighter gases like helium, but balloons like those weigh thousands of pounds. And they're not filled with helium, they're filled with the very same air they're floating in, yet they still go up. Now that you mention it, why does the atmosphere itself stay up?